Hey guys, welcome back. So this is continuations of consumer functional interface, and here I will show you how you can use method reference to perform consumer functions example, right? So let's say what you have here is you have a class called example 6, you have a main method, and this we know that in core Java we have done that a lot of time, where we can arrays dot as list and we can convert this to a list, right? And since this input type is integer, your this variable output is going to be list of integer, right? This is a default class called number class. So there is one method which will print your odd number, there is another method will print your even number, and there is something called done. So how do we write these methods, right? So I need to write three consumer here. One it will do adding, one it will print odd, even, and then it will say that done. So how this works? So what I can do here is I can write, so first let me write the consumer. So I can write list li dot for each. Okay, inside the for each, what I have to do, I have to write one consumer, right? So I can write n, take the number one by one, then arrow, inside this you write a logic. If you do n modulus 2 is equal to if 1 comes, let's say some logic, if 1 comes, then just do print n number and keep some space, that's it. So this is one consumer, right? You can see that in the print odd number you are using that consumer, right? Hope that you are not getting confused here. If you are getting confused, the same consumer, let me explain you one more time so that you don't have any confusion. So what I wrote here is, I just wrote same thing. I can write like this: consumer integer and consumer is equal to, nothing else I did extra. Okay, so you can see that I can write consumer like this also, and same consumer I can pass it here as an argument to the for each. I can pass it. But guys, the main aim of functional programming is you should write less number of code. So try to optimize that. Try to optimize your code. So you can write the same logic inside the for each. Your for each is very smart to understand that whatever you have written, it's a consumer, because your for each will accept consumer. Got my point? Now you wrote a one consumer which will check for the, let's say, odd number. Now similarly we have to write for the even number also. So can I write one more consumer here? Same consumer 1 I can do, and I can just do if is equal to let's say 0. I'm going to say that this guy is a even number, and whatever method I have, I can copy this entire thing. Okay, I'm going to replace your entire thing with consumer 1. Okay, both will work, guys, in the same way. Clear? Right? Now for our understanding, I can write in print odd number just for printing purpose, so that we'll come to know which method is getting called, and here in even number. Clear? So you have a consumer, you have your consumers are ready. In the method you have written the consumer. Now in done, what you do is you just write one print statement, processing done. Okay, right? Your all three method is ready. Now I have to consume these three methods. So how do I consume that? Through method reference, right? Whatever you have seen till now, I was making the consumer and I was calling the consumer in the for each loop, or I was doing that consumer dot accept, right? Same thing we can do through method reference also. Let me show you how. So this is the class, right? So I need to access the method of this I need to access the method of this class. So what we do in Java generally, we create the object of the class. So here also I have to do that creations of object of the class, right? Now I will write one add number consumer, sorry, odd number consumer is equal to number. I'm mapping this, and you have to use 2 colon and then what consumer, print odd number. You map it here like this, okay? And then what is the return type of this guy? This guy return type is not object. You have this guy return type is going to be consumer. Basically this guy return type is going to be consumer of number, right? So why this is complaining, right? Why this is complaining? Print odd number, right? Print odd number. What is the input? Okay, input is list of integer. Sorry, input is the list of integer. So your consumer input should be list of integer, then only it will not compare. It will not complain. So you have created one consumer by using method reference. So in Java 8 you can write method reference like this, okay? So when your method is non-static, you have to create the object of the class and then you can map the method, right? You can map the method internally. This will return the consumer, right? If your method is static, so let's do one thing, make one method as a static. If your method is static, okay, then I have to make this guy is also static, okay, because I am consuming this guy inside this print event number, so I have to make this guy is also static. You know that this is Java concept. So when it is a static, the benefit is I don't need to create the object. I can just go and call through class reference, okay, and this guy is going to be my print event number. So you got it. Now you have two consumer created. Similarly, I'll create one more consumer which is nothing but done consumer, and this guy, it is non-static, so I have to call done consumer, right? Now one thing you will be if you see here properly, see how you are mapping the method. In the method you don't need to supply the argument. When you write a consumer, your consumers are very smart that whatever input you will supply to this consumer, this will get internally passed to this method, okay? Again same thing, in this consumer list of integer, right, this will get passed to this print event number method. Again the same will happen with the done also, right? So now you can see that you are ready with 3 consumer. Now you go back to the consumer. In consumer there was method called accept, and we have seen that n number of example. Then there was method called and then, right? What is this method and then? We will see that now. So how this and then method will work, we will see that now. How we can club multiple consumers. This we would have done that without using method reference also, but this I would like to show you with method reference. So what I can do here odd number consumer. First you check for the odd, then and then you do print even number consumer dot, and then you call for done consumer, right? When you are calling everything, what is the expectations you want list, right? You pass this list. So how this works, basically how this works is, first it will call this consumer, it will process the consumer, then it will call the second consumer, it will process this consumer, then it will call the third consumer, it will process them. This entire things, against what it will get processed? Against list will get processed. So you got it. By using and then, you can club multiple consumers, guys. Multiple consumers you can club by using and then. Same thing you would have done earlier also. Earlier also you can write that consumer 1 dot, and then consumer 2 dot, and then consumer 3 dot except, earlier also. So whatever I have done earlier, you can try by using and then. That is your exercise. So let's run this and see that whether these consumers are working fine or not. So you can see that it went to print odd number. 7, 17, 13 is the odd number. Then it processed the even. The even is 8, 12, 14 is the even number, and then processing done. So you can see that your consumers are working fine. You are getting the output as expected. Okay, because it called for your odd number. You had one consumer here, right? Print odd consumer. Then this guy was the static, and then this guy was the non-static. So we had actually 3 consumers here, right? If you look at, and when we had 3 consumer, we have created the consumer by using a method reference in different class. So this is my default class, which is basically it's a different class. This guy is the different class. So I went to a different class. I created the reference method reference of all the consumers. Okay, and using and then I'm calling everything, and it is working as expected. Thank you guys. Thank you for watching this.